We live in an era where reputation is weaponized. Dark psychologists launch calculated campaigns of social destruction through slander and false witness. They aim to dismantle your public identity piece by agonizing peace, leveraging gossip and digital speed. 49 words. Calumny is not just criticism, it is deliberate, malicious misrepresentation intended to induce public hatred and contempt. It is poison designed to isolate you from your necessary support network and erode your social standing permanently. 46 words. The dark psychologist seeks reaction. They crave the emotional energy you expend defending yourself, which confirms their power. When you react defensively or angrily, you inadvertently validate the premise of their cruel accusation. 44 words. Stoicism provides the necessary armor against these attacks. We turn inward, fortifying the mind against external noise. We learn to accept the reality of the external attack without accepting the truth of the malicious narrative. 46 words. The key is radical acceptance, accepting that the world may temporarily believe a lie about you, yet simultaneously refusing to allow that belief to define your inner self or future honorable conduct. 43 words. The campaign thrives on confirmation bias and speed. The lie spreads through digital channels, utilizing rapid, context-free snippets to bypass rational evaluation in the minds of a distracted, emotionally charged audience. 45 words. Dark psychologists often frame their attack as a moral necessity or virtuous exposé. They position themselves as righteous defenders, weaponizing your perceived flaws for maximum public outrage and consensus building. 45 words. They carefully select messengers who appear trustworthy, often trusted friends, colleagues, or authorities. This tactic, known as proxy communication, makes the lie exponentially harder to disbelieve purely based on its origin. 44 words. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that our reputation exists entirely in the minds of others. It is external, uncontrollable, and fundamentally ephemeral. Why sacrifice inner peace for the sake of managing an external fiction? 44 words. Your reputation is not a true possession, it is merely a popular opinion granted by others. Just as wealth can be stolen by thieves, your reputation can be ruined by simple gossip. Do not cling to what is inherently impermanent. 47 words. Their greatest weapon is the temptation to defend and justify yourself. When you engage the lie, you elevate the DP from a mere gossip to an equal combatant, giving their baseless accusation gravity and legitimacy. 45 words. Epictetus reminds us that only our judgment is truly ours. The moment you define your worth by public opinion or fleeting praise, you have handed the key to your fortress and inner tranquility to your enemies. 46 words. Apply the dichotomy of control. We cannot control what others say, think, or believe about us. We can only control our response, our judgment of the event and the internal actions we choose to take next. 44 words. Practice premeditatio malorum. Visualize being slandered, ridiculed, and ostracized. When the calumny strikes, it registers not as a paralyzing shock, but as an expected scenario already processed and neutralized internally. 46 words. Recognize the initial sting of unfairness is natural. Allow the feeling to register, but deny it permission to dictate your resulting behavior or judgment. It is just a fleeting impression, not a decree of truth. 45 words. Use your faculty of judgment, your prohairesis, to label the incoming information correctly. This is merely a sound, word spoken by others, or a perception held externally, not a necessary truth about my being. 48 words. Direct all energy away from retroactive justification and toward proactive, constructive action. Let your present, disciplined conduct be the undeniable, living rebuttal to the fabricated narrative, day after day. 44 words. Seneca advised that if the insult is true, correct the fault internally and move on. If it is false, disregard it entirely, as it has no objective bearing on your reality. Either way, the slanderer is immediately defeated. 48 words. You must become the unwavering judge of your own character. Your integrity is not derived from temporary public applause but from the consistency between your professed values and your private, observable actions. 44 words. Stoic acceptance means recognizing the external reality of the attack. I am currently being slandered. It does not mean agreeing with the content of the lie. The slander is true. Maintain this critical detachment. 43 words. Silence is an aggressive, strategic move against the dark psychologist. It starves the manufactured controversy of necessary fuel. When you refuse to panic, the audience quickly loses interest in the fabricated drama they were offered. 46 words. Embrace the virtue of patience, or Hupomone. Endure the temporary public storm. Character takes time to demonstrate, reputation is instantaneous and volatile. Let consistency and time prove the slander utterly false. 44 words. Calumny serves as a crucible. It reveals who your true, loyal allies are and strengthens your self-reliance in adversity. Thank the DP, internally, for providing such a necessary, if painful, examination of your network. 46 words. Why should you carry the heavy, exhausting weight of irrational opinions belonging to others? Free yourself from the burden of managing external perceptions that are inherently unstable, prejudiced, and unreliable. 43 words. The judo flip strategy. Instead of resisting the momentum of the accusation, acknowledge the fact that a negative perception exists, but immediately pivot to demonstrating your true, disciplined self through action. 44 words. If appropriate, sometimes the most disarming move is to meet the absurd accusation with light, honest humor and self-awareness. It signals deep self-assurance and removes the solemn, intense drama the DP desperately craves. 46 words. Recognize that the majority of those who quickly believe the calumny are already prejudiced or unwilling to listen to reason. Attempting a detailed defense wastes vital energy and only lowers your own status. 43 words. Devote your precious time and mental resources to individuals who already know your character or are genuinely open to rational conversation. The consensus of the uniformed, reactionary crowd is typically meaningless noise. 44 words. The anticlimax strategy, dark psychology requires escalating conflict for sustenance. By showing no distress, no anger, and refusing public defense, you deprive the attack of its emotional payoff, guaranteeing an anticlimax. 45 words. Sustaining a fabricated campaign of lies is resource-intensive and exhausting. By remaining calm and relentlessly productive, you force the DP to burn their own mental capital, eventually exposing their obsession and malice. 44 words. View the dark psychologist not as a terrifying villain, but as a deeply flawed, unhappy individual who depends on the destruction of others for their own fleeting validation. This stoic pity reduces their psychological impact. 47 words. If required, craft a single, brief, dignified non-response, then commit to absolute silence afterward. A simple statement, my actions speak louder than baseless gossip. Then, retreat into principled action. 43 words. Perform a power audit. Has the calumny actually hindered your ability to execute your core duties, maintain your health, or practice your virtues? If not, the damage is purely superficial and easily disregarded. 43 words. The campaign may succeed in isolating you temporarily. Use this forced solitude for deeper study, reflection, and rigorous fortification of your internal state. True strength is often forged in productive isolation. 41 words. The desire for public vindication is a dependency, an emotional addiction. It signals that you still rely on the external world for defining your worth. True Stoic freedom lies in requiring zero external proof. 45 words. View every lie directed at you as mandatory practice in emotional detachment. It is necessary friction that refines your ability to distinguish objective reality from mere fleeting social construction and malice. 43 words. Lies have a short half-life unless continually fed by your frantic reaction. Unfed by your energy, the public's attention inevitably moves on, and the malicious calumny decays into forgotten history and noise. 42 words. Character is permanent, forged by consistent, deliberate choices and unwavering consistency. Reputation is a fleeting, external fiction based on unreliable witnesses and constantly shifting public sentiment. Choose the permanent good. 44 words. The Dark Psychologist has ultimately failed their mission if you maintain your virtue and integrity throughout the social destruction campaign. They cannot destroy what you refuse to compromise within yourself. 41 words. Seneca asks, why should we care what an unstable, malicious, or poorly educated person thinks of us? Their judgment reflects their own internal turmoil and bitterness, not your objective reality or worth. 44 words. The reward for accepting calumny without debilitating reaction is profound tranquility, known as euthymia. You regain all the mental energy wasted on external defense and reclaim your hard-won inner sovereignty. 43 words. People who observe your consistent, non-defensive behavior over months will eventually trust your character far more than the sensationalized, fleeting accusations that required frantic maintenance by the DP. 43 words. Embrace the calumny campaign not as a crippling wound, but as a necessary scar. It proves you survived the attempt to destroy you and now possess greater internal resistance and psychological fortitude against future attacks. 46 words. This ultimate detachment from needing validation grants true philosophical freedom. You are finally liberated from the crushing need to please, defend, or manage the capricious and unstable opinions of the social collective. 45 words. Fortify your mind. Accept the transient reality of the external attack. By refusing to validate the lie with your time, attention, or anger, you disarm the Dark Psychologist completely, achieving absolute Stoic victory. 44 words. Your inherent worth is permanent, not conferred by the capricious crowd. Hold fast to your internal truth, and let the lies about your reputation fade into the irrelevant, meaningless noise they truly are. 43 words.